Jake Paul is fighting in MMA. This is one of the most ambitious things to happen in influencer combat sports. Jake Paul will probably fight Nate Diaz in a 2-fight deal, one in boxing, one in MMA, and that is crazy. Jake Paul has signed up with the PFL and has created a new division of pay-per-view fights entitled Super Fights. PFL is a competitor to the UFC, and this is the first step of disrupting properly the MMA world. This is crazy news for influencers, influencer combat sports. We can no longer call it influencer boxing. This is now influencer combat sports because Jake Paul is making the first leap into MMA, and I feel like people like KSI should be making the same waves. This is super ambitious, and fighting Nate Diaz, even though he's like 36, 37, fighting Nate Diaz in MMA, that takes balls. Nobody can take that away from Jake Paul if he fights Nate Diaz in the UFC. Of course, he's taking him out of his comfort zone when he fights in boxing with Nate Diaz, but he's also fighting in MMA, so I think that shuts every hater up. This is huge, and I'm very much looking forward to how the PFL handle these super fights going forward, and what are the type of names that will be on these cards. Will it be like Misfits, how you have a bit of everything? You have influencers, you have athletes, you have just general entertainers, or will it just be established pro fighters on these pay-per-view super fight cards? Jake Paul is also making these contracts 50-50, with fighters making 50% of the revenue, which is just crazy if that turns out to be true and actually comes into fruition. That's crazy, and that definitely disrupts the UFC and what they have going on. With a potential Nate Diaz fight in the works, we could see a lot of fighters joining up to this PFL league, and I am stunned. This is a huge fight. I thought his fight announcement today, Jake Paul's, was just going to be about Tommy Fury. We'll set that up for a third time, and then Tommy Fury will pull out for some fucking reason. But no, this is way bigger. And Jake Paul is legitimately rocking the boats. Not even influencer combat sports, just the combat sports in general. And what a time to announce it too, because of all the Dana White controversy. This was a power move, to be honest, by Jake Paul. Fair play. This is ambitious.